Good morning and welcome to Lesson 5. Today's lesson is an overview of Unit 2 in your school program. It is Consumers and Advertising, or Safety First. Since the unit is about consumption and safety, so let's start talking about food. As it is shown in this picture, you've got two categories of food. On the green part, you have whole food that makes you healthy and strong because it is full of necessary nutrients for your body. These nutrients can be found in fruits and vegetables. On the red part, you have junk food, which means low-quality food that do not contain necessary nutrients. Examples of junk food are pizzas, burgers, chips, soda, cakes, chocolates. This is the kind of food that is very, very tasty, but that can be dangerous for our health. And here is the challenge, to make the right choice. Many people find themselves in a dilemma, eating healthy or eating tasty. Even though adult people are aware of the necessity of eating healthy, they sometimes make the bad choice, okay? They don't resist to the temptation and eat junk food. If this is the case for adult people, what shall we say for children? Whenever a child is asked to eat fruit or to choose between eating fruits and eating a cake, most of the time he would choose the cake. Why? Well, the reality is that children love eating junk food. They cannot resist to the temptation of eating junk food. They can do it all the time and they never get tired of it. And because parents lose control over the children, so the result is that many of the children suffer from obesity at a very early age. Now the question is, why do children have this preference toward junk food? Why are they so attracted to it? Is it really a matter of taste, or is there something else? Think of the answer to this question, and then watch the following video to check your answer. Here is the video. Let's watch.
Many parents monitor the TV shows their kids watch. But what about what airs between your child's favorite program? New research shows commercials may influence your child's habits. Researchers conducted an experiment that looked at 200 9- and 10-year-olds. The kids were fed and then shown a 34-minute TV show that contained commercials for either food or toys. The children who viewed a show with food ads, including a commercial for gummy candy, later ate an average of 48 more calories of gummy candy than those who saw toy ads. The scientists reported that the kids with an obesity-associated gene were more likely to eat the gummies if they saw the commercial. The bottom line? What your children are watching may be what they end up wanting. I'm Jessica Sanchez reporting.
So, of course, feel free to go back to the video and see it as many times as you want. Now, if you have watched the video carefully, you would agree with me that the answer is junk food adverts. Children are being exposed to these adverts everywhere, on TV, on the net, and while they are playing their games, also outside in the form of billboards that are hanging on the walls of buildings, on bus stations, and everywhere in the street. That's why they are influenced, and their choice to make the right towards their choice concerning food is being influenced. So to know more about junk food adverts and how they influence the children concerning the choice, and also how to protect these children against this influence, we suggest you to read the following text. Feel free, of course, to read the text as many times as you want before you do the activities. This activity is about true-false statements. Okay, so you have a number of sentences here, 4 sentences. Say whether they are true or false according to the text, and then an additional task is to correct the false ones. Okay. Let's see the correction. Sentence 1. Parents are conscious that publicity influences their children. Is this true or false? Of course, according to the text, it's false, because the text says that they are unaware of the terrible impact of these ads. Okay, unaware here is the opposite of conscious. Aware, unaware. All right. Sentence 2. Food companies are collecting information about children to design their favorite foods. Is this true? No, that's false, because the text says that the information is collected about children not to design their favorite food, but to target them with junk food adverts. To target them means that children here are their objective. Okay, they are made their objective with the junk food adverts. Sentence 3. Fatty, salty, and sugary foods must be prohibited for all children. Is this true? No, that's false, since the text specifies here the promotion of foods high in fat, high in salt and sugar to children under 16 must be banned, must be prohibited. So this does not concern all children, okay? This concerns only children under 16. That's why the sentence is false. The last sentence, the World Health Organization is selecting the advertised foods and drinks to children. The sentence is true, and it is said in the last paragraph that the World Health Organization is reviewing the advertised food and drinks. Reviewing or selecting, it's the same thing. So it's true. Let's move to the next task. Fill in the following table with information from the text. So you are going to read the text again and try to summarize the text in a way by putting information in each column. So the first column, what is the problem dealt with in the text? Okay, so who is the victim or who are the victims? So what is the effect, the impact of this problem on the victims? And finally, what is the solution suggested in the text? Okay, take the necessary time to do this task before you correct. So the problem the text is dealing with is junk food adverts. Okay, the victims that are touched by this problem are the children. So what is the effect of junk food adverts on children? It is that 1 in 5 children in England is obese by the end of the primary school. That's terrible. And the solution that is suggested in the text is a complete ban on advertising unhealthy food to children. You see, this table summarizes the text somehow. The fourth task is about answering the following questions according to the text. Okay, so let's read the questions. Do vloggers have more impact on viewers than ordinary TV shows, and why? Why do fast food chains place their restaurant's location in reality games, like Pokemon, for example? 3. What affects the balance of children's diets according to Dr. Ted Stone? Right. Again, take the necessary time to answer the following questions. Let's go to the text to find the answers. For the first one, why do vloggers have more impact on the viewers than TV shows? So according to paragraph 3, yes, they do. Okay, it suggests that vloggers are now more influential. More influential means that they have more impact, okay, than TV shows and films. Why? So the justification is here, due to the large number of people who are addicted to social networks. Due to, or because of, or owing to, this is, okay, the justification. The number of people who follow networks, social networks and YouTube are much greater than those who follow TV. That's why the vloggers are more influential. The second one is, let's go back. Why do fast food chains place their restaurants' location in reality games? The answer is in the same paragraph. Okay. So fast food chains such as McDonald's or Burger Kings encourage kids to visit their stores. How? By making restaurant important locations in reality games. Okay, so why are they putting these restaurants locations in the reality games? It is simply to encourage the kids to visit their stores, okay, to attract their attention. The last one, what affects the balance of children's diets according to Dr. Ted Stone? The answer is in the last paragraph. All forms of advertising and marketing, including the use of characters, advert games, and digital marketing, affect the balance of children's diet. Okay, here is the answer. So let's see the answers all together. So, do vloggers have more impact? Yes, they do. It's a yes/no question. Then why? Of course, you put the justification after the full stop. They are more influential due to, okay, the large number of people who are addicted to networks. The next one, they place their restaurant's location in reality games to encourage, okay, it is given in the form of a purpose, to encourage kids to visit their stores. And finally, what affects the balance of children's diet is the different forms of advertising and marketing, including the use of characters, advert games, and digital marketing. Okay, of course, this last answer can be written in a different way, starting from the answer here that is in blue as a subject, and finishing with affects the balance of children's diet as a completion. So I can say the different forms of advertising and marketing, including the use of characters, advert games, and digital marketing, affects, okay, the balance of children's diet without, okay, this verb. Task 5 now, always in comprehension, is in which paragraph is it mentioned that junk food salesmen pay bloggers and vloggers to advertise their food? Okay, go back to the text and try to identify this idea in the text. Okay. So the answer to this question is in paragraph 2. More exactly, the sentence which says, more video vloggers get paid by junk food retailers or salesmen to promote their food, okay, in paragraph 2. The only difference is that the text, the sentence in the text is given in an active voice, and the sentence here is in the active voice, whereas in the text it is said in the passive one. Okay, so I think we have finished with comprehension. Let's start the text exploration with the first task on vocabulary and lexism. Find in the text words or expressions which are closest in meaning to the following words. So, take the necessary time to find the synonyms of the following words in each paragraph, in the given paragraphs. So let's start with the first word, controlling, in paragraph 1 is manipulative. Okay, manipulative. To manipulate someone is to have control over him. Right? Commercials, it is given in the plural form. The meaning is adverts in paragraph 2. To be obsessed with something in paragraph 3 is to be addicted to it, to be addicted to films or YouTube or something like this. It means obsessed with it, not obsessed by, okay? Overweight is an adjective in paragraph 4. The corresponding word is obese, okay? From obesity, obese. Next is prohibition in the same paragraph. The word corresponding is ban. A ban can be, well, a noun here, or it can be a verb, to ban. Now is an adverb, so the corresponding verb also should be an adverb, currently. Okay? So this is all for task 1. Let's move to the next one. It is about word building or morphology. Which adjectives can be derived from the following nouns? Okay, so here is a list of the words of the nouns. So you can try to find the suffixes that can be added to these nouns to get the adjectives. Okay? The keys. So the adjective of the first word, influence, is influential. So pay attention to the difference in spelling. The C becomes T. Okay, you remove the E, the final E, and you add yol as a suffix to get influential. The second word, advertised. So you add ized here to get a past participle. In fact, this is the form of the past participle that can be used or that can function as an adjective. Fat, fatty. Okay, so what happened here? We have doubled the final consonant T. Why? Because this word is composed of one syllable that is consonant plus vowel plus consonant. So if I do not double the consonant, I would pronounce fatty, which is incorrect. That's why I need to double the T here to pronounce fatty. All right? Junk, same thing, junkie. You see, in this word, you don't need to double the K. Why? Because the vowel here is followed by two consonants and not one consonant. Food. So the adjective can be foodful or foodless. Okay. Foodful means that contains food. Foodless means that is not nutritious. Okay. So nutrition, the adjective of nutrition is nutritious with the suffix shus, us, okay, at the end, or you keep the noun as it is and you add all at the end as a suffix, nutritional. Health, of course, healthy. All right. So let's move now to grammar. This will be a revision for you for all the grammar of Unit 2. Combine the following pairs of statements using the connectors in brackets and don't forget to make the necessary changes. So the connectors given in brackets are because, to express cause, although, to express concession, owing to express cause, if, condition, so that and such that to express consequence with intensification. Okay, so for example, for the first word, your task here is to find the right place. So it's easy to express cause, but you need to find the right place. Should it be in the middle or should it be in the beginning? And for this, you need to understand the what is expressed in the two sentences here. Which one is the cause and which one is the consequence. All right? Same thing for the other connectors. Let's see the answers. So for the first sentence, manufacturers use additives in food. Many people have digestive problems. So it's clear that the second sentence here is the consequence. That's why if I keep the two sentences in the same order, so I would need to put because in the beginning in this way. Because manufacturers use additives in food, of course, pay attention to the punctuation. You remove the full stop and you put a comma, and of course you remove the capital letter of the next word. Okay? So this word can be put in the beginning or it can be put in the middle. Say, for example, many people have digestive problems, no punctuation, because manufacturers use additives in food. Second sentence, the company guaranteed its safety, the milk was contaminated. Okay, use although to combine the two sentences. So we have to say, the milk was contaminated, although the company guaranteed its safety. You see? So if you want to put although in the beginning, it's possible, but you will have to remove all the clause with it. So say, although the company guaranteed its safety, or the safety of the milk, that's better, comma, the milk was contaminated, or it was contaminated. All right. Sentence 3, canned food is unsafe. It contains unhealthy ingredients. So the cause here is very clear. Owing to. Now, how can I use this word? Of course, you need to make certain changes. Canned food is unsafe owing to unhealthy ingredients. What did I do? I simply removed it contains, subject and verb. Why? Because owing to should be followed by a noun phrase and not a verbal phrase, which is not the case for because, for example. Okay? So we said, because manufacturers use additives, you have subject and verb with the rest of the sentence. But with owing to, or due to, or because of, you need to complete with the noun phrase as it is given in this example. So let's continue the correction with the three other sentences. Consumers can avoid synthetic food colorings. They check labels in grocery stores. So where is the condition among the two here? Consumers can avoid synthetic food colorings. This is the result, okay? If they check labels in grocery stores. What type is this? If you remember, this is type 1. So with if plus present. So if here is followed by the present, and the result clause is in the future with can here. Of course, it could be will or may. The next sentence. The seasoning of the dishes we ordered was very heavy. We weren't able to eat them. So now when you introduce so that to express consequence, you have to say, the seasoning of the dishes we ordered was so heavy that we weren't able to eat them. So the result here of the consequence is that we weren't able to eat them. So when you introduce so that, it should be, so should be followed by the adjective immediately, and then that, and then the result. All right? So you can compare it with the last one. The meal was salty. I drank a lot of water. Such that is a bit different. Okay? So you have to make certain changes. It was such a salty meal that I drank a lot of water. Okay, why did I do this? Because such and like so, okay, should be followed by a phrase. Adjective plus noun. not an adjective alone. All right? Plus the result that I drank a lot of water. Now, if I had to use so, for example, in this sentence, I would say simply, the meal was so salty that I drank a lot of water. But because it is such, I need to put a noun phrase. So how did I bring the noun phrase? It is from the subject and the subject complement here. So that's why I brought another subject, which is the impersonal it. It was such a salty meal that I drank a lot of water. I hope it's clear. Another grammar activity is to rewrite sentences B using the prompts. So what do we mean by the prompts? These are the words or the expressions that I use to start the sentences. Okay, these words that you see in red are the prompts that can help you to guess what you are asked to do. So let's see what you can do in the first sentence. Regulations about food safety are not respected, therefore, supermarket managers find it difficult to get safe products. So the sentence here expresses result. Now, you are asked to start sentence B using supermarket managers. It means starting with the second sentence, second part of the sentence. Okay? So you have to inverse this sentence. So whenever you inverse consequence, what do you get? Of course, you get cause. So I want you to pay attention to these details in the next, when you answer the next sentences. Take the necessary time, please, to answer all these sentences, to complete. Let's correct together. So, when you inverse, as I said, this sentence expressing cause, consequence, of course you get cause. How can I express cause? With because, since, or as in the middle of the sentence or in the beginning of the sentence. Say, supermarket managers find it difficult to get safe products because, or since, or as regulations about food safety are not respected. Sentence 2. Even though the governments make efforts to implement food safety systems, consumers are still doubtful about the products they buy. Okay, so you have to start the sentence with in spite of. Of course, in spite of expresses the same thing as even though, but there is a difference in the structure of the sentence. So, in spite of the efforts of the government to implement food safety, consumers are still doubtful about the products they buy. What happened here? We simply removed the verb and the subject. Okay, the subject verb, but to keep only the noun phrase. So what is the noun phrase here? It is the efforts to implement food safety systems. So after even though, although, you put the subject verb and the rest of the sentence. But after in spite of and despite, you put a noun phrase or a gerund. Okay, it's possible also to use a gerund. Sentence 3. Junk food has a bad publicity, however, many consumers still buy it. So you are asked to start the sentence with although. Of course, it can be in the beginning or it can be in the middle, as I did here. Many consumers still buy junk food, although it has a bad publicity. So although and however, both of them express opposition, but there is a slight difference between them. Okay, although is concession, and you have to inverse the first one to get this concession. So the last sentence should be written or should be started with unless. So what is unless? If you don't complain to the manager, you won't get any refund. This is the conditional sentence type 1. Now when I come to write it with unless, I say, unless you complain to the manager, you won't get any refund. As you can see, the last part is the same, there is no change. So the change here is in the first part. After unless, okay, you say you complain and not don't complain. Why? Because unless means if not, okay? If not. So if I replace unless by if, so I remove the negation also. All right? Let's do some phonetics now. Classify the following words in the table according to the pronunciation of the final S. Alright, so the final S can be pronounced S, or it can be pronounced Z, or it can be pronounced is, depending on what? Depending on the last consonant in the word. Alright, so let's see the keys. The first word is adverts, then drinks, foods, preferences, diets, chains, kids, blogs, and encourages. So as I said, depending on the last consonant of the word, you pronounce the final S. Se, the, or is. So, for example, in the first column here, the words finish in te or ke. What kind of consonants are these? These are voiceless consonants. What do we mean by voiceless consonants? We mean simply that we don't need our voice to pronounce these consonants. We simply need the air. So they are voiceless. This is just the air. The air is sufficient to pronounce it. So whenever the word finishes in a voiceless consonant, you pronounce the final S, se. For the Z pronunciation, this concerns words that finish in voiced consonants, like de, ne, and ge here. Okay, if I need my voice to pronounce these consonants. The air is not sufficient. Okay, so when the word finishes in voiced consonants, so the final S is pronounced Z, right? And finally, when do we pronounce is? Simply when the word finishes with the fricatives, consonants like se, je, ze, che, and she, for example. Okay? So this is just a revision for you. So the last task in text exploration is a dialogue completion. All right. So here in this dialogue, you have to complete with the questions that are missing. So how can I complete or guess the question? Of course, according to the answer. Let's see, for example, the first answer. I wrote it because I felt deceived about the restaurant's bad service. So it's clear that we are right. We are talking about something that is written. So what can be this thing that is written? I felt deceived about the restaurant's bad service. You need to guess, you know. So, and then you have because I felt. So there is a question about the reason why. So from this you can guess what the question is about. Another one is I asked for a refund. Okay, so maybe the answer is about, the question, sorry, is about the refund. Okay, they have to. I believe it is my right to get a refund. This one maybe can be, or it should be, I think, it should be a yes-no question. And then, what if, okay, here you may suggest something that is the opposite of what is said before. Okay, let's see the answers. Why did you write the complaint letter? You see, when you are deceived about something, you are deceived about a service or a product or what, you can write a complaint letter to express your dissatisfaction. So you ask the question why, because in the answer you have because. Why did you write the complaint letter? Pay attention to the verb, because my verb is in the past, so my question also should be in the past. Okay? And the form of the past verb in the past is did you plus the infinitive of the verb. The answer, I wrote it because I felt deceived about the restaurant's bad service. Now, what did you ask for in this letter? Okay, of course you can complete the question. What did you ask for in this letter? What did you ask for in the complaint letter? Something like this. And the answer, I asked for a refund. Okay, a refund. You are asking them to pay back the money. All right. Now, do you think they will accept to give you a refund? And the answer, they have to. It's a way to say yes, okay? It's because it's a yes/no question. I believe it's my right to get a refund. And then, and what if, what? The opposite of accept, all right? What if they refuse? Imagine the opposite. The answer then is, I will make an advertisement campaign against their services. Good idea. Okay, this is all for this dialogue. Let's move to the last part in this lesson, which is the written expression. So we suggest the first topic. Many children suffer from obesity, which is a serious illness, as it can lead to many other diseases. Write an article of about 80 or 100 words for your school magazine in which you talk about the causes and the causes of obesity and the ways to prevent it, means the solutions. So you can develop the following notes to get your paragraph. Okay. So when I say you develop the notes, of course you try to make complete sentences. Okay, you can write very simple sentences and use connectors to make your sentences more logical and express different functions. What are the causes that you can develop here? Consume too much junk food, excessive consumption of sugary, fatty and salty food, physical inactivity, the lack of sports, eating in front of TV, this is a big problem, okay, most children do this, spend much time playing video games and also using the computer, okay. Now, concerning the solutions or ways to prevent, to avoid this problem, is simply do the opposite. Eat more vegetables and fruits. Okay? Prepare healthy snacks for children to get them more attracted, okay, because they love snacks. Limit watching TV, okay, and also more physical practice. You have to involve children in practicing more sports, and also, if necessary, they should go on a diet. All right. The second topic that we suggest is a free topic. You have seen a commercial or an ad on your local television station which appeared during a children's program. So you feel that an advertisement of this type is not suitable for children. So you write a letter of complaint to the director of the television company explaining why you object to it and why you would like them, what you would like them to do about it. Of course, you have to sign your letter, Paul Carter, as an example, and not sign with your own name, especially if it is a back exam. Now, what are you asked to do here? It's a letter, so you have to respect the layout of a letter, write the addresses, the sender's address, and so on. Start your letter with an opening, dear sir, since you don't know the name of this person. And if you want to imagine a name, say dear Mr. and put a name. Of course, you need to write a body. In the body of this letter, you will have to say why you are dissatisfied, simply, why you object to it, okay? So here, in a way, or indirectly, you are simply giving the effects. You are going to talk about the negative effect of these ads on children, okay? And of course, the text can help you in doing this. And another part of the body of the letter should be what you would like them to do about it. It means you are just going to suggest a solution. Maybe you can say that they have to ban it or prohibit or stop them or do something like that. So there we are. This is the end of the lesson. I hope it was clear. Thank you for your attention.
شكرا على المشاهدة. لا تنسوا الاشتراك في القناة، الضغط على الجرس، الإعجاب بالفيديو.